The vast emptiness of space stretched out before the Galactic Empire's scout ship, the Stargazer. Captain Zix, a tall, blue-skinned alien with 4 arms, stood on the bridge. His large, dark eyes scanned the screen showing the unknown solar system they had just entered. "Sir, we're picking up signals from the 3rd planet," reported Lieutenant Vreen, her tentacles dancing over the control panel. Zix nodded. "Primitive radio waves, no doubt. Probably another undeveloped world." But as they approached the blue and green planet, something unexpected happened. Their scanners began to light up with activity. "Captain, I'm detecting advanced energy signatures," exclaimed Vreen, her voice filled with surprise. "And artificial satellites in orbit." Zix's eyes widened. This was not what they had expected to find in this remote corner of the galaxy. "Bring us closer, but activate our cloaking device," he ordered. As they entered the planet's orbit, hidden from view, the crew of the Stargazer watched in amazement. The night side of the planet glowed with countless pinpoints of light. Cities spread across continents. Satellites and space stations orbited the world, and they even detected signals from a small base on the nearby moon. "It's incredible," whispered Zix. "They've achieved space flight. And look at the variety of their technology." The Stargazer's sensors revealed a planet teeming with different cultures and nations, all interconnected by a global network of information. They intercepted transmissions showing entertainment, news, and scientific discussions that hinted at a rapidly advancing civilization. "Sir, should we make contact?" asked Vreen. Zix shook his head. "No. Our orders are clear. We report back to the Empire first." As they prepared to leave, a small object caught their attention. A probe, launched from Earth, was traveling towards the outer planets of the system. Its simple message of peace and friendship, broadcast in multiple formats, touched something in Zix's heart. "They're reaching out to the stars," he murmured. "They have no idea what's waiting for them out here." With a mix of excitement and unease, the Stargazer left Earth's solar system, racing back to the heart of the Galactic Empire. In the Grand Palace on the Empire's capital world, Emperor Zorax listened to Captain Zix's report with growing interest. The Emperor, a massive creature with gleaming scales and multiple eyes, leaned forward on his crystalline throne. "So, these humans have achieved spaceflight and global communication." Zorax's voice boomed through the hall. "Yes, Your Majesty," replied Zix, "and they're advancing at an unprecedented rate. In just the last century, they've gone from primitive flight to landing on their moon." The Emperor's chief scientist, Dr. Kulan, spoke up. "Fascinating. Their rate of technological progress is off the charts. We should study them, learn from." "Nonsense," interrupted General Krav, the Empire's top military leader. The insectoid alien's mandibles clicked in agitation. "You've seen what happened with the Arcturus Rebellion. We can't risk another young species growing too powerful. We should conquer them now, while they're still vulnerable." Emperor Zorax raised a clawed hand for silence. "You make a good point, General. These humans could become a threat if left unchecked." He turned to Zix. "Captain, what's your assessment?" Zix hesitated. He thought of the probe, of the hope and curiosity it represented. "Your Majesty, the humans show great potential. They're innovative, adaptable. Perhaps we cooled." "Your sympathy for lesser species is noted, Captain." Zorax cut him off. "But the Empire's security comes first." The Emperor stood, his decision made. "We will bring these humans into the Empire. By diplomacy if possible, by force if necessary." As the palace erupted into activity, preparations being made for first contact, Zix felt a sense of unease. He had seen something in the transmissions from Earth, a spark of defiance and determination that set humans apart from other young species the Empire had encountered. "May the stars have mercy on us all," Zix muttered to himself. "For I fear we may be underestimating these humans, and that could be the biggest mistake the Empire has ever made." Little did they know, This decision would set in motion a chain of events that would shake the very foundations of the Galactic Empire and reveal to the cosmos the indomitable spirit of humanity. The skies above Earth's major cities darkened as massive Galactic Empire ships appeared. Their sudden arrival caused chaos and panic among the human population. Emergency sirens wailed, and world leaders rushed to crisis meetings. In New York, Sarah Chen, a young UN diplomat, stared at the sky in disbelief. "This can't be happening," she whispered, her hands shaking as she dialed her supervisor. Meanwhile, in the Empire's command ship, General Krav prepared to address the humans. His insectoid face appeared on screens worldwide, causing more panic. "People of Earth," Krav's translated voice boomed, "we are the Galactic Empire. Your planet is now under our control. Surrender peacefully, and you will be allowed to join our glorious empire as a protectorate." In the White House Situation Room, President Rodriguez slammed his fist on the table. "Like hell we will," he growled. He turned to his advisors. "What are our options?" Admiral John, head of Earth's newly formed Space Force, spoke up. "Sir, we've been preparing for this. Project Phoenix is ready." Rodriguez nodded grimly. "Do it." Across the globe, hidden silos opened. Advanced spacecraft, built in secret using reverse-engineered alien tech from crashed UFOs, launched into the sky. The Empire ships, caught off guard, scrambled to respond. Back on the command ship, General Krav watched in shock as Earth's defensive fleet engaged his forces. "Impossible," he hissed. "They shouldn't have this technology." Captain Six, watching from a corner, allowed himself a small smile. He had warned them not to underestimate the humans. On Earth, Sarah Chen found herself rushed to the UN headquarters. As one of the few diplomats with knowledge of extraterrestrial languages, thanks to her work on the secret alien crash sites, she was now humanity's voice. Sarah took a deep breath and activated the comm link to the Empire ship. "This is Earth. We reject your demand for surrender. We choose freedom." General Krav's mandibles clicked in anger. "Foolish humans, you have no idea of the power you're defying." He turned to his weapons officer. "Prepare to fire on their major cities. Let's see how brave they are when facing annihilation." But before he could give the order, alarms blared through the ship. Earth's fleet, though smaller, was inflicting significant damage with their unexpected weapons. In space, human pilots like Captain Jake Morrison showed incredible skill. Jake's ship danced between laser blasts, taking out Empire fighters with precision. "Yeehaw!" he shouted. "How'd you like that, you oversized bugs?" As the battle raged, Emperor Zorax himself contacted General Krav. "What is happening?" The Emperor demanded. "Why haven't you subdued this primitive world yet?" Krav struggled to explain. "Your Majesty, they're more advanced than we thought, and their tactics are unpredictable." Zorax's eyes narrowed. "Fix this, General, or I'll find someone who can." The transmission cut off, leaving Krav seething. He turned to his officers. "Prepare the planet killer. We'll wipe out these insolent humans once and for all." Captain Six stepped forward. "Sir, with all due respect, that's genocide. We should." "Silence," Krav roared. "You've always been too soft, Six. This is war." As the Empire prepared its ultimate weapon, Earth's leaders received a secret transmission. It was from Six. "Humans of Earth," his message said, "you've shown incredible bravery, but you don't know what you're facing. The Empire will stop at nothing. Please, for your own sake, run, hide, do whatever you must to survive. Because the storm that's coming, it will reshape the galaxy." In the UN Command Center, Sarah translated the message for the world leaders. A heavy silence fell over the room. Finally, President Rodriguez spoke. "We've faced extinction before. Ice ages, plagues, our own nuclear weapons. Each time, we survived. We adapted." He looked around the room, determination in his eyes. "We're humanity. We don't run. We stand and fight." A cheer went up from the assembled leaders. As they rushed to prepare Earth's defenses, Sarah looked back at the starry sky, now filled with battling ships. "I hope you're ready, Empire," she whispered, "because you've just picked a fight with the most stubborn species in the galaxy." Little did the Empire know, their warning had only strengthened humanity's resolve. The first true war between Earth and the Galactic Empire was about to begin, and the cosmos would never be the same. As the initial shock of the alien invasion wore off, humanity's true strength began to shine. All around the world, people united with a single purpose: survival. In a hidden underground lab in Tokyo, Dr. Yuki Tanaka worked tirelessly. Her team had been studying alien technology for years. Now, their work could save the world. "We've done it," Yuki shouted, her eyes bright with excitement. "The reverse-engineered shield technology is ready." Her announcement was met with cheers. Soon, Earth's major cities would be protected by energy shields, just like those used by the Empire. Meanwhile, in a secret military base in the Sahara, Captain Jake Morrison trained new pilots. Earth's unexpected space fleet had surprised the Empire, but they needed more skilled fighters. "Remember," Jake said to his students, "those alien ships may look tough, but they have weak spots. Hit them right, and they'll go down just like anything else." One of the new recruits, a young woman named Zora, raised her hand. "But sir, aren't we still outnumbered?" Jake grinned. "Sure we are, but humans have been beating the odds since we crawled out of the caves. Why stop now?" His confidence was infectious. The pilots returned to their training with renewed determination. In Washington, D.C., President Rodriguez met with world leaders via secure video conference. The room was tense, but there was a spark of hope in the air. "The Empire thought we'd be an easy target," Rodriguez said, "but we showed them otherwise. Now we need to push them back for good." On the screen, President Chen of China nodded. "We've been mass-producing the new plasma rifles. They're effective against Empire armor." "Excellent," Rodriguez replied. "India has developed jamming technology to disrupt their communications, and the European Union has a new missile defense system ready." As the leaders discussed strategy, Sarah Chen listened intently. Her role as chief diplomat had expanded. Now she was also Earth's top expert on Empire technology and culture. "We need to think beyond just defense," Sarah interjected. "The Empire spans galaxies. We need to take the fight to them." Her bold statement was met with murmurs of agreement. Humanity wasn't just trying to survive anymore. They were planning to win. High above Earth, the Empire fleet regrouped. General Krav was furious. What should have been an easy conquest had turned into a prolonged battle. "How is this possible?" he raged. "These primitive humans are using technology they shouldn't have." Captain Zix spoke up cautiously. "Sir, I've been analyzing their tactics. The humans are incredibly adaptable. They're learning and improving at an astonishing rate." Krav's compound eyes narrowed. "Are you admiring the enemy, Captain?" "No, sir," Zix replied quickly. "I'm simply stating facts. If we underestimate them again, we could lose this war." Before Krav could respond, an alarm blared. On the view screen, a swarm of Earth ships appeared, led by Jake Morrison's distinctive fighter. "Surprise attack," Krav shouted. "All ships, battle stations." The space around Earth erupted into chaos. Human ships, smaller but more agile, darted between the massive Empire cruisers. Jake's voice crackled over the comms. "Remember your training. Hit them hard and fast." On Earth, people watched the battle unfold on their screens. In New York, a crowd gathered in Times Square, cheering as human fighters took down Empire ships. Back in the Tokyo lab, Dr. Tanaka's team worked on their next project, a weapon that could disable Empire ships without destroying them. "If we can capture their technology intact," Yuki explained to her team, "we can learn even more." As the battle raged on, Sarah Chen stood in the UN headquarters, watching the sky. She thought about Captain Zix's warning. The Empire had told them to run, to hide. Instead, humanity had stood its ground. They had faced their fear and found strength they never knew they had. Sarah smiled. "You told us to run," she whispered to the stars. "But you forgot something important about humans. We're too stubborn to know when we're beaten. And that's what makes us dangerous." As night fell on Earth, the battle continued. But for the first time since the invasion began, there was a feeling of real hope. Humanity wasn't just fighting for survival anymore. They were fighting for their future among the stars. And they intended to win. The day had finally come. Earth's combined fleet, a mix of reverse-engineered alien tech and human ingenuity, was ready to take the fight to the Empire. The plan was bold. Push the Empire out of the solar system. Captain Jake Morrison sat in his advanced fighter, leading the charge. His voice crackled over the comms. "Remember, people, we're making history today. Let's show these aliens what humans can do." As Earth's fleet approached Mars, where the Empire had set up a base, they were met with a sight that made even the bravest pilots pause. Hundreds of Empire ships filled the sky, their massive forms blocking out the stars. In the UN Command Center on Earth, Sarah Chen watched the feed with bated breath. "They've been busy," she muttered, noting the Empire's increased numbers. President Rodriguez stood beside her, his face grim. "We knew this wouldn't be easy, but we've come too far to back down now." The silence was broken by Dr. Yuki Tanaka's excited voice over the comm. "The EMP cannon is ready. We can disable their ships without destroying them." In space, the two fleets clashed. Empire ships fired their powerful lasers, but Earth's new shields held. Human fighters darted between the larger alien vessels, their agility proving to be a significant advantage. Jake's voice rang out. "Zara, on your 6." The young pilot spun her ship just in time to avoid enemy fire. "Thanks, Cap," she called back, before taking out the Empire fighter with a well-placed shot. On the Empire's command ship, General Krav watched in disbelief as the human fleet held their ground. "Impossible," he roared. "How are these primitives matching our technology?" Captain Zix spoke up. "Sir, I've analyzed their tactics. They're using our own technology against us, but with modifications we've never seen before." Krav's compound eyes narrowed. "You seem to admire them, Captain. Perhaps your loyalties are misplaced." Before Zix could respond, a blinding flash lit up space. The humans had fired their EMP cannon, disabling a whole squadron of Empire ships in one shot. "All ships, concentrate fire on that weapon," Krav ordered, his voice filled with panic. Back on Earth, cheers erupted in the command center as they watched Empire ships go dark. Sarah turned to Rodriguez, her eyes shining. "It's working. We might actually win this." But the Empire wasn't defeated yet. They launched a counterattack, focusing all their firepower on Earth's flagship. The massive ship's shields flickered and failed. Jake's voice came over the comm, strained but determined. "We can't lose that ship. All fighters, protect the flagship." In a daring move, Jake led a squadron straight into the heart of the Empire's formation. They weaved through enemy fire, launching missiles at key points on the alien ships. One by one, Empire vessels began to fall. The humans' unpredictable tactics and modified weapons were proving too much for the aliens' rigid battle formations. On the Empire command ship, alarms blared as systems began to fail. Krav turned to his officers, fury in his eyes. "Retreat. Back to the outer system." As the Empire fleet began to pull back, a cheer went up from the human ships. They had done it. They had won their first major battle against the Galactic Empire. In the debris-filled space around Mars, Jake's fighter did a victory roll. "We did it, everyone. The solar system is ours again." The celebration was short-lived, however. As the adrenaline wore off, the reality of their situation set in. Yes, they had won this battle, but the war was far from over. Back on Earth, as footage of the victory played on screens worldwide, Sarah Chen stood quietly, her mind racing. "They'll be back," she said softly. And next time, they'll be ready for us. President Rodriguez nodded grimly. Then we'll just have to be ready for them. Humanity stood its ground. Now it's time to take the fight to them. As the Earth fleet began the journey home, Captain Zix watched from the retreating Empire ship. Despite the danger of his thoughts, he couldn't help but feel a grudging admiration for the humans. They had been warned to run, but instead, they had fought back and won. The Galactic Empire had made a grave mistake in underestimating humanity, and now the entire galaxy was about to learn just how formidable humans could be when pushed too far. The first clash was over, but the war for humanity's place in the galaxy had only just begun. 6 months had passed since humanity's victory in the solar system. Earth had been busy. The captured Empire ships had provided a treasure trove of advanced technology, and human scientists had been working around the clock to understand and improve upon it. In her lab in Tokyo, Dr. Yuki Tanaka stood before a holographic display of a new ship design. "We've done it," she said, her voice filled with excitement. "We've created a hyperdrive that can outperform the Empire's best ships." Beside her, Sarah Chen nodded approvingly. "Excellent work, Yuki. This could change everything." Meanwhile, in a secret military base in the Rockies, Captain Jake Morrison was training a new generation of pilots. The simulator room was filled with the sounds of mock battles. "Remember," Jake called out, "the Empire relies on strict formations. Use that against them. Be unpredictable." As the pilots practiced, President Rodriguez entered the room. Jake snapped to attention, but Rodriguez waved him off. "At ease, Captain," he said. "How are our new recruits doing?" Jake grinned. "They're learning fast, sir. The Empire won't know what hit them." Rodriguez nodded grimly. "Good, because it's time for the next phase of our plan." Across the globe, similar scenes were playing out. Humanity was preparing not just to defend, but to take the fight to the Empire. In orbit, Earth's new flagship, the ESS Defiance, prepared for its maiden voyage. Its hull gleamed with a mix of human and alien technology, a testament to humanity's ability to adapt and improve. On the bridge, Admiral Zhang looked out at the assembled fleet. Ships from every nation on Earth had come together, united against a common threat. "All ships report ready, Admiral," said his first officer. Zhang nodded. "Then let's make history. Set course for the Arcturus system." As the fleet jumped to hyperspace, leaving Earth behind, tension filled the air. This would be humanity's first venture beyond their solar system, and they were heading straight for an Empire stronghold. Days later, in the Arcturus system, alarms blared on the Empire's colony world. General Krav, who had been demoted after his failure at Earth, stared in disbelief at the sensor readings. "Impossible," he muttered. "How did they get here so quickly?" Before he could react, the sky lit up with the arrival of the Earth fleet. The ESS Defiance led the charge, its advanced weapons tearing through the Empire's defenses like paper. In his fighter, Jake let out a whoop of joy as he dodged enemy fire. "Look at them scramble," he shouted over the comms. "They never expected us to bring the fight to them." On the Defiance's bridge, Sarah Chen watched the battle unfold. As Earth's chief Xeno-diplomat, she was there to handle any potential surrenders or negotiations. "Admiral," she said, turning to Zhang, "I'm picking up transmissions from the planet's surface. It seems not everyone down there is loyal to the Empire." Zhang raised an eyebrow. "Rebels?" Sarah nodded. "They're offering to help us take control of the main government building." As the space battle raged on, a team led by Zera was dispatched to the surface. They linked up with the local rebels, a mix of various alien species who had long chafed under Empire rule. "We never thought we'd see the day," said the rebel leader, a tall, reptilian alien named Kex. "Your people have given us hope." Together, the human strike team and the rebels stormed the government building. The Empire forces, caught between the space battle above and the ground assault below, quickly surrendered. As news of the victory spread, cheers erupted across the Earth fleet. They had done it. Humanity had successfully launched its first counterattack against the Galactic Empire. Back on the Defiance, Sarah received an urgent transmission. Her eyes widened as she listened. "Admiral, President," she said, turning to Zhang and Rodriguez. "Word of our victory is spreading fast. We're receiving messages from other systems. They want to join us against the Empire." Rodriguez smiled grimly. "It seems we started something bigger than we imagined." As the Earth fleet secured the Arcturus system, the news raced across the galaxy. A small backwater species that the Empire had tried to conquer had not only resisted but had taken the fight to the Empire itself. Across countless worlds, hope began to stir. The seemingly invincible Galactic Empire had finally met its match, and the galaxy would never be the same again. The news of humanity's victory at Arcturus spread like wildfire across the galaxy. On countless worlds, beings of all shapes and sizes whispered about the small, determined species that had dared to challenge the mighty Galactic Empire. On the planet Zephyria, a world of floating cities and crystalline spires, the Aetherian Council gathered in emergency session. These beings of pure energy had long remained neutral in galactic affairs, but now they faced a choice. "The humans have shown remarkable courage and ingenuity," said Counselor Lyra, her form shimmering with excitement. "Perhaps it is time we took a stand." In the shadows of Morvis's endless jungles, the reptilian saurians hissed in approval as they watched footage of Earth ships battling the Empire. Long oppressed by imperial rule, they saw in humanity a chance for freedom. Back on Earth, Sarah Chen found herself working around the clock. As messages poured in from across the galaxy, she coordinated with a team of linguists and diplomats to manage the sudden influx of alien communications. "Another message from the Trelaxians," she called out, her voice hoarse from overuse. "They're offering us access to their subspace technology in exchange for protection from the Empire." President Rodriguez, looking tired but determined, nodded. "Tell them we accept. We need all the allies we can get." In orbit, the ESS Defiance had become the hub of a growing alliance. Ships from a dozen different species now floated alongside Earth vessels, their crews working together to prepare for the battles to come. On the Defiance's bridge, Admiral Zhang met with an assortment of alien captains. The sight was surreal, tentacled Octavians, floating next to furry Ursidans and crystalline silicoids. "We may be different," Zhang said, addressing the group, "but we all seek freedom from the Empire's tyranny. Together, we can achieve what none of us could do alone." Meanwhile, deep in the Empire's territory, unrest was growing. On the factory world of Metalos, robotic workers suddenly ceased their endless labor, their AI awakened by transmissions from Earth about freedom and self-determination. In the grand halls of the Imperial Palace, Emperor Zorax raged at his advisors. "How have these humans turned half the galaxy against us in mere months?" he roared, his scales flashing with anger. General Krav, recently reinstated due to the emergency, stepped forward. "Your Majesty, we underestimated them. Their adaptability, their drive. It's unlike anything we've encountered before." Zorax's eyes narrowed. "Then we must crush them before this rebellion spreads further. Prepare the planet killer." As the Empire mobilized its forces for a final desperate assault, Earth and its new allies prepared their defenses. In hidden shipyards across a dozen systems, a new fleet was taking shape, one that combined technologies from 100 worlds. On a small moon orbiting Jupiter, Captain Jake Morrison stood before a group of alien pilots. Beside him, translators worked furiously to convey his words to the diverse group. "I know we're all different," Jake said, looking at each alien face in turn. "We have different bodies, different minds. But today, we're united by something stronger, the desire for freedom, the will to determine our own destinies." A cheer went up from the assembled pilots, a cacophony of roars, clicks, and electronic beeps that nonetheless conveyed a single emotion: determination. As the galaxy braced for the coming storm, Dr. Yuki Tanaka made a breakthrough in her lab on Mars. Surrounded by a team of human and alien scientists, she stared in awe at the simulation results on her screen. "We've done it," she whispered, then louder. "We've done it. A weapon that can disable the planet killer." The news spread quickly, reinvigorating the Alliance's efforts. As the final preparations were made, Sarah Chen found herself on the Defiance's observation deck, looking out at the assembled fleet. Ships of all shapes and sizes floated in the vast darkness, a testament to the incredible diversity of life in the galaxy. And at the heart of it all was humanity, the species that had been warned to run, but had instead chosen to stand and fight, not just for themselves, but for all those who yearned for freedom. As alarms began to sound, signaling the approach of the Empire's fleet, Sarah felt a mix of fear and pride. The final battle was about to begin, and the fate of the galaxy hung in the balance. But whatever the outcome, humanity had already achieved something incredible. They had united a fractured galaxy, given hope to the oppressed, and shown that even the mightiest empire could be challenged. The war that would decide the future of the galaxy was about to reach its climax, and humanity was ready to face it head-on. The vastness of space near Earth was alive with activity. Thousands of ships from dozens of alien races formed a massive defensive line. At the center, the ESS Defiance stood ready, humanity's flagship gleaming with determination. On the Defiance's bridge, Admiral Zhang surveyed the fleet. "Status report," he commanded. "All ships report ready, Admiral," his first officer replied. "The Aetherian energy shields are at full power, and the Saurian cloaking devices are operational." Zhang nodded grimly. "And the secret weapon?" Dr. Yuki Tanaka stepped forward, her eyes shining with a mix of excitement and fear. "It's ready, Admiral. If we can get close enough to the planet killer, we can shut it down." Suddenly, alarms blared. A young ensign called out, "Multiple hyperspace signatures detected. It's the Empire fleet." The space in front of them twisted and warped as thousands of Empire ships emerged from hyperspace. At their center loomed a massive sphere, the planet killer. In his fighter, Captain Jake Morrison whistled. "Would you look at that ugly thing?" he said over the comms. "Let's show them what happens when you mess with Earth and her allies." The two fleets clashed in a spectacular display of light and destruction. Lasers crisscrossed space, while fighters darted between capital ships like angry insects. Jake led his squadron of human and alien pilots in daring attack runs. "Remember the plan," he shouted. "We need to clear a path for the Defiance." On the Empire's command ship, Emperor Zorax watched the battle unfold with growing fury. "How is this possible?" he raged. "They're matching our every move." General Krav, standing nearby, looked troubled. "Your Majesty, the humans have united the galaxy against us. Species that have hated each other for millennia are now fighting side by side." Zorax's eyes narrowed. "Then we'll destroy them all at once. Prepare the planet killer." As the massive weapon began to power up, Sarah Chen, monitoring communications on the Defiance, picked up a transmission from the Empire fleet. Her eyes widened as she decoded it. "Admiral," she called out, "there's a faction within the Empire fleet. They're willing to help us if we can guarantee their safety." Zhang made a split-second decision. "Tell them we accept. We need all the help we can get." Suddenly, a group of Empire ships broke formation, turning their guns on their former allies. In the chaos that followed, the Defiance sought its chance. "All ships, this is Admiral Zhang. Cover the Defiance. We're going in." The flagship surged forward, protected by a screen of allied vessels. Fighter squadrons led by Jake cleared a path, their coordinated attacks overwhelming the Empire's defenses. As they neared the planet killer, Yuki's voice came over the comms. "We're in range. Activating the disruptor now." A beam of energy unlike anything seen before lanced out from the Defiance, striking the planet killer. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, slowly, the massive weapon's lights began to flicker and die. "It's working," Yuki shouted in triumph. With their superweapon disabled, the Empire fleet fell into disarray. Ship after ship either surrendered or fled. On the Empire command ship, Zorax watched in disbelief as his grand fleet crumbled. "Impossible," he muttered. "We warned them to run." Krav stepped forward, his voice firm. "Your Majesty, it's over. We must surrender." Hours later, on the Defiance's observation deck, Sarah Chen stood with Jake, Yuki, and Zhang, watching as Empire officials signed the formal surrender. Representatives from dozens of alien races looked on, their faces showing a mix of joy and disbelief. "We did it," Sarah said softly. "We actually did it." Jake grinned. "Not bad for a species that was supposed to run and hide, huh?" Zhang nodded solemnly. "This is just the beginning. We've won the war, but now we have to win the peace. The galaxy will need rebuilding." As if on cue, a group of alien diplomats approached, led by the Aetherian counselor Lyra. "Humans of Earth," Lyra said, her form shimmering with emotion. "You have liberated not just yourselves, but the entire galaxy. We would be honored if you would lead us in forming a new galactic alliance." Sarah stepped forward, her voice clear and strong. "The honor is ours, Counselor. Together, we'll build a galaxy where all species can thrive in peace and freedom." As the sun rose on a new era of galactic history, the humans shared a quiet moment of pride. They had been warned to run, but instead, they had stood their ground. In doing so, they had not only saved themselves, but had become the catalyst for a revolution that spanned the stars. The Galactic Empire's first war with humans had ended, and humanity's grand adventure among the stars was just beginning.